We are back here with a digital nervous system aiming towards personalized Internet of Things, healthcare, and we're going to scroll down to this image. Before these biosensors are deployed commercially, they are tested with wearables to make absolutely certain that they are accurate. And then those wearables and these little chips can be augmented so we no longer need a chip or a wearable. We just do it wirelessly with our software-defined metamaterials at the nanoscale. Right now, we're going to take a look at some of the apps. A lightweight hybrid vision transformer network for radar-based human activity recognition. Radar-based human activity recognition, HAR, offers a non-contact technique with privacy protection and lightning robustness for many advanced applications. Complex deep neural networks demonstrate significant performance advantages when classifying the radar microdoppler signals that have unique correspondence with human behavior. However, in embedded applications, the demand for lightweight and low latency poses challenges to the radar-based HAR network construction. In this paper, an efficient network based on a lightweight hybrid vision transformer is proposed to address the HAR accuracy and network lightweight simultaneously. This network combines the efficient convolution operations with the strength of the self-attention mechanisms and VIT. Feature pyramid architecture is applied for the multi-scale feature extraction for the microdoppler map. Feature enhancement is executed by the stacked radar VIT subsequently, in which the fold and unfold operations are added to lower the computational load of the attention mechanism. The convolution operator and the lightweight hybrid vision transformer is replaced by the RES-SE block, an efficient structure that combines the residual learning framework with the squeeze and excitation network. Experiments based on 2 human activity datasets indicate our method's advantages in terms of expressiveness and computing efficiency over traditional methods. Human activity recognition has huge potential for numerous applications, such as intelligent healthcare, smart homes, intelligent security, and autonomous driving. In recent years, HAR data sources have been categorized into 2 groups: visual-based HAR and non-visual sensor-based HAR. Visual-based HAR analyzes human motion using video or photos acquired by optical cameras, whereas non-visual sensor-based HAR collects data using smart sensors, such as gyroscopes, accelerometers, and radars. Millimeter wave radar can adapt to different weather and lighting conditions with low power consumption and privacy protection. Considerable attention has been paid to HAR technology based on millimeter wave radar. Time-varying kinematic information integrating human motion can be investigated by analyzing and processing millimeter wave radar echo signals. And activity recognition may be carried out utilizing the resulting kinematic information. Radar-based HAR is usually based on the microdoppler feature of target echoes. Microdoppler features from the time Doppler graph can highlight the self-vibration and rotation of the human's torso and limbs. Based on the clear and unique correspondence between the microdoppler features and human behavior, supervised learning methods are usually used for radar-based HAR. However, HAR methods with high accuracy and embeddable potential are facing challenges, and it is worthwhile devoting much effort to this. Traditional classification techniques, such as multi-layer perceptron, principal component analysis, support vector machines, and linear discriminant analysis are used in some research. Manually extracted microdoppler characteristics are typically employed as classification inputs. Prior knowledge and the intricacy of the categorization task restrict the use of these characteristics. Deep learning has been steadily advancing in recent years. Its excellent categorization performance has also garnered considerable attention. Radar-based HAR research has gotten more intelligent due to the incorporation of deep learning techniques. Now we're going to scroll down to this image. Data acquisition using human activity radar with the Doppler. There is your little chipset, raw data, which brings us to human activity recognition.
Biosensor networks that track every move. Extensive research showed that the physiological response of human tissue to exposure to low-frequency electromagnetic fields is the induction of an electric current in the body segments. As a result, each segment of the human body behaves as a relay which retransmits the radio frequency RF signal. To investigate the impact of this phenomenon on the Doppler characteristics of the received RF signal, we introduce a new three-dimensional, 3D non-stationary channel model to describe the propagation phenomenon taking place in an indoor environment. Here, the indoor space is equipped with a multi-input, multi-output MIMO system. A single person is moving in the indoor space and is modeled by a cluster of synchronized moving point scatterers, which behave as relays.
Now we're going to come over here and read a non-stationary relay-based 3D MIMO channel model with time-variant path gains for human activity recognition in indoor environments. Extensive research showed that the physiological response of the human tissue to exposure to low-frequency electromagnetic fields is the induction of an electric current in the body segments. As a result, each segment of the human body behaves as a relay, which retransmits the radio frequency signal. To investigate the impact of this phenomenon on the Doppler characteristics of the received radio frequency signal, we introduce a new three-dimensional, non-stationary channel model to describe the propagation phenomenon taking place in an indoor environment. Here, the indoor space is equipped with a multiple input, multiple output MIMO system. A single person is moving in the indoor space and is modeled by a cluster of synchronized moving point scatterers, which behave as relays. We derive the time-variant channel transfer function with time-variant path gains and time-variant path delays. The expression of the time-variant path gains is obtained from the instantaneous total received power at the receiver side. This time-variant total received power is expressed as the product of the time-variant power of the radio frequency signal initially transmitted and received by a body segment, and the time-variant received power of the redirected signal. These time-variant powers are determined according to the free space path loss model. Also, a closed-form approximate solution to the spectrogram of the time-variant channel transfer function is derived. Here we analyze the effect of the motion on the person and the validity of the relay assumption on the spectrogram, the time-variant mean Doppler shift, and the time-variant Doppler shift of the time-variant channel transfer function. Simulation results are presented to illustrate the proposed channel model. According to the World Health Organization, WHO, the elderly population, ages 65 and up, is expected to triple in the next 30 years and reach 16% of the global population. Thus, there has been a great focus on the study of home care systems based on human activity recognition, tracking, and classification techniques. This is of great interest as most older people prefer to live independently in their own homes, but living alone, albeit in a familiar environment, carries the risk of incidences like falls and unconsciousness. For example, as reported in 34, approximately 30% of people over 65 and 50% of people over 85 fall at least once a year. This calls for robust in-home tracking and monitoring systems. A review of the literature shows that human activity recognition systems utilize three major techniques: video or optical marker based surveillance, wearable and context-aware inertial measurement units, and radio frequency signal processing. With the recent developments in computer vision and digital cameras, vision-based and/or marker-based techniques have been widely investigated in the context of in-home activity monitoring. Here, the markers are placed on the human body and must be clearly visible to the cameras. They are based on extensive imaging processing and/or the use of optical marker-based motion capture systems. Wearable and context-aware systems use IMUs, which can be placed on the person, such as watch, smartphone, clothes, etc., or deployed in the room, along the floor, or on the walls. They employ the embedded accelerometers, gyroscopes, and magnetometers data to identify and classify human activities. Apart from privacy concerns, the main drawbacks of the first two categories are that the person may forget to wear the sensor-based devices or move outside the detection range of the non-wearable sensors/cameras. This is of particular importance, especially for the elderly population. Non-wearable radio frequency-based systems have been introduced as a solution to overcome the disadvantages of the aforementioned systems. These radio frequency-based systems track and monitor indoor human activities by analyzing and exploiting the effects of the human motion on the Doppler characteristics of the transmitted radio frequency signals. Several parameters can be utilized for this underlying task, such as the received signal strength, the time-varying phase of the received signal, the time of arrival, the time differences of arrival, and the angle of arrival. The design, development, and implementation of efficient radio frequency-based methods rely heavily on accurate indoor channel models to describe the non-stationary multipath propagation phenomenon. The majority of the aforementioned studies are based on scenario-specific multipath channel models, where the moving person or object is modeled by a single-point scatterer and assumed constant path gains when expressing the received radio frequency signal. A fixed-to-fixed, F2F, single input, single output, SISO, three-dimensional channel model with constant path gains has been reported in number 3, where the body segments of the moving person have been modeled by a cluster of synchronized moving point scatterers. The authors analyzed the effects of the motion of the person on the spectrogram of the complex channel gain, the time-varying mean Doppler shift, and the time-variant Doppler spread. More recently, a F2F SISO 3D non-stationary channel model with a stochastic trajectory model has been presented in number 6, where the person is modeled by a single moving scatterer. The expression of the complex channel gain of this model incorporates time-variant path gains that change with the total distance traveled by the moving person from the transmitter to the receiver. In number 6, the time-variant path gains are determined according to the path loss model, number 29, by considering the sum of the time-variant distances between the body segments, moving scatterers, and the transmitter/receiver. In other words, diffuse reflection is assumed. This means that the incoming radio waves bounce back in all directions without absorption, redirection, or any physical alteration. This assumption is not consistent with the results of the studies reported in 1, 8, 9, and 22, in which the effects of electromagnetic fields, particularly the extreme low frequency range, on the human body were investigated. As shown in 1, 8, 9, and 22, when exposed to a low frequency electromagnetic field, the human tissue's body generates an electric current. This current is generally referred to as induced current. In this case, the human body does not reflect the incoming radio waves, but it retransmits them. Thus, the different body segments of the moving person, moving point scatterers, are assumed to play the role of relays, which redirect the transmitted radio frequency signal. Now we're going to scroll down to the image over here. A single moving person, modeled by a cluster of moving scatterers. Scatterers, that's your 802.15.5, BLE, Bluetooth Low Energy, rearranging itself. You're moving around, and so are they. This is an international system. Unless you are a value chain partner of the IEEE, the WHO, the UN, you're just as screwed as the rest of us. Now back to the applications that we were looking at. So we have the data acquisition. Now we look at radar preprocessing. Radar preprocessing, meaning the same way that they use their EEG headsets to look through this data and looking right through your tissues with biomagnetic biosensors, because the air molecules are a bit heavy metal. That means they bind themselves together. And everyone was told that their Doppler, even the microdoppler, was for the weather. But the weather is controlled. Weather warfare was signed off in the Library of Congress in the 70s. Here, we're going to do a quick Google search. Treaties signed on Weather Warfare Library of Congress. And here it says, weather modification activities raise three major kinds of legal issues. Legal issues only occur after you demonstrated demonstrable, repetitious, real-time analytics. So start Googling, because we had control over the weather back in the 70s. Go read it for yourself. Now, back to the applications. So, your microdoppler map then handles your feature extractions. Your feature extractions are part of your digital ID, the one that is attached to your CBDC, your central bank digital currency, and it could be your weight, distance, etc. They decide how they're going to enhance your features, folding and unfolding proteins, multi-head attention, and then they pull, POLL, all biomarkers, change out your proteins and cell structure with software-defined metamaterials.